Good afternoon and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends podcast with the Meldon Law Firm. My name's Ian Pickens and I'm an attorney out of the Ocala office. Obviously, I'm not the big boss, Jeffrey Meldon. He is out this week with Carrie. They are, I believe, skiing in Steamboat Springs over in Colorado, which I just happened to get back from out west myself. I was the week before I was in Colorado in Breckenridge. It was my first time being out there. So if you ever have a chance to go out west and see those mountains, it's a lot different than what you would see on the East Coast. So take full advantage of that if you have the opportunity. It was a blast I had with my family, and I'm sure they're having a great time. So that's why I'm here today. Like I said, I'm the personal injury and criminal defense attorney out of the Ocala office. We have a fully staffed, beautiful office right there on Pine, right across from Advent Hospital. So feel free to stop in and see us. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is obviously being the official law firm of the Florida Gators is our beloved Florida Gators. Big sports weekend coming up. We got softball. They have a tournament, the T-Mobile tournament, which we're actually having a ticket giveaway. We're giving away 2 tickets for the 17th of later this week. So this weekend they're playing. I believe they got UConn. There's Bowling Green, Central Michigan, Delaware State. So our Lady Gators are going to be playing 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. They also have a game tonight at 6 and tomorrow against JU, and then they also play Friday against UConn as well. So if you have a chance, get out there and support our Lady Gators. They're already 3-0, expecting big things from them. Kind of have a little dynasty thing going there with the softball team, and as well with the Florida Gator baseball team. It's also opening week, so we have a 3-game homestand against Charleston Southern. We have 2 tickets that we're giving away also for the 17th, and if you can make it out there, I believe Darren O'Day is throwing the first pitch, so a Gator legend is throwing the first pitch for the opening home series that we have opening day. We also have a Gator basketball versus Kentucky. We're giving away 2 tickets, and every fan who attends that game is also going to get a free Gator t-shirt courtesy of Meldon Law. So hopefully we can get a big win against Kentucky for that game. I know we had that huge win not too long ago against Tennessee, beating the number 2 team in the country for an upset win. That was a pretty big deal, one of the best games I've seen by our Gators in a while playing basketball. Hopefully get back on track. We had a tough loss against Vanderbilt, and so hopefully we can right the ship and get a win with Kentucky there. And so we have a guest that will be coming on shortly. He's out of Ocala. His name is Brandon Surber, and we're going to take a quick break, and he'll be on, and we'll catch up with him.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit?
At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Carrie allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else hit us here when we...
Here we go again.
Welcome back to the Meldon Law and Friends podcast. I'm Ian Pickens, an attorney out of the Meldon Law Ocala office. And with me is Brandon Surber, who owns a business in Ocala, a print shop. He's a father of five beautiful girls. How long have you been living in Ocala?
31 years.
31 years, born and
sir.
raised.
Yes, sir.
All right, local
Yes,
legend.
sir. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
Yep. So we've been in business 3 years. We are a one-stop shop, family-owned and operated screen printing and embroidery shop. We serve pretty much the Ocala and Marion County areas, working with a lot of local businesses, majority of just local businesses. But pretty much anything that goes on T-shirts, hats, signs, we do it all.
Okay.
So under one roof.
So like business cards?
Yeah, not so much printing them, design aspect. Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, custom logos, and we can do custom brochures. But as far as the printing, mainly just shirts, polo shirts, embroidery, screen printing, and stuff like that. Just simple signs.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy on the signs part. But
So for instance, if you got a business, if you wanted to do like a work shirt, they come to you with a design, or you could help create the design?
Exactly. So we work with a lot of established businesses who have been running 15, 20 years with no logo, just pretty much just text as their logo, and they want to finally take that step and create an image for their branding. But also a lot of small businesses who are just starting up. We're living in an era right now, especially after COVID, where people were laid off, so they're pretty much forced to create a business. So on the daily basis, we're working with new businesses, majority of new businesses who are just starting out. So new logo, and then we set them up with some shirts and hats and things like that. Pretty much a branding package.
Right. So it's not just putting it on something hard like a shirt or a hat or something. You create a logo, and then they can use that as almost their brand for social media and things like that.
Everything. So once we sit down, just like we're doing now, we go through the whole concept and we visualize what they're wanting. And once we design it, we keep the files for hats, shirts, signage, business cards, their social media, things like that. That way they're creating that image for their business and embedding it into customers' heads and on a daily basis. So it's good to have a unique logo when you're a small business, for sure.
Right, absolutely. Something to stand out and pop.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where you at in Ocala? Where can people find you?
So we have a shop. It's about 3,000 square feet. We're located right off of 14th Street there. If you come down 25th Avenue, right there on Bonnie Heath Boulevard, take a right on 22nd. We're right there on the corner of 14th Street and 25th Avenue.
All right. Well, what about if like little league teams, things like that? Yeah,
we tapped into the sports market a little bit. You either have to specialize in the sports and the uniforms, or go the other route, which we're in now with the businesses, because it's a little difficult with all the names and this misspellings and the rosters. So it is challenging. We do a little bit of it, and we will take on work, but we try to focus on the small business aspect more than anything. But we do work with local teams and things like that, but not so much of the smaller businesses or local businesses. So.
Right. Now, you mentioned, we talked a little about sports, so my understanding is big Gator fan?
Big Gator fan. I have stories we can talk for days, but, I was born and raised here in Ocala. My whole family is just athletes and coaches, but as far as the Gator, I used to actually sold my first business in 9th grade. Not a lot of people know this. It was a website. I used to blog for the Florida Gators. So I was actually supposed to be a journalist before I was an entrepreneur, and I ran a sports blog for many years. In 9th grade, I ended up selling it, and that's kind of how I, had some extra money in my pocket and all that good stuff. But that's how I started my entrepreneurship journey. Is I sold a Florida Gator blog in my 9th grade year.
So ninth grade year, what year is that?
2006 maybe.
Okay.
So
there were some good things to blog about back then.
Yeah, there was, and I wish I had held on to it.
Yeah.
And,
those were some great years.
Yeah, for sure.
2006 to like 2008.
For sure.
You had Tebow, Harvin.
Yep.
Right? We're winning natties in football.
Exactly.
Winning
Back to
natties
back.
in basketball.
Exactly.
Right? Big basketball fan.
Yep. So we did a lot of not so much of your average post-game, pre-game, but what I would do is pretty much build these relationships with these recruits in high school, like Ryan Shazier, the guy that got paralyzed with the Steelers, Matt Elam, Trey Burton. Played Xbox Live with them for a couple of years, and as they went to Florida, I would have these exclusive Q&As with them, and that's why we drove so much traffic to our website, because we were covering personal stories other than just football and post-game statistics. So that's kind of what set us apart and drew a lot of interest to the blog, believe it or not. So I wish I kind of held on to it. I tried to pull up some old articles recently and archived my emails and all that good stuff, but definitely was a learning lesson.
So yeah, 100%. So that's awesome. So you were covering basically behind the mask, so to speak.
Yeah, more than
right?
just football, because these kids were young. We didn't have the NIL and all that stuff, of course, but we'd blog about your favorite video games. I was with Trey Burton doing a Q&A with him. We'd played Xbox Live. Basically asked these recruits and these Gator players, other than football, what do you do outside?
Right.
What do you do that you enjoy? And we would type up an article and have this exclusive Q&A, and people loved it. They can see, a little bit more about them, their background, other than just football or playing, sports.
Right.
So
that's cool. So have you kept in touch with any of the guys?
Not really.
Still playing Xbox with them?
Nah, I stopped playing video games. I don't really have communication with. I have some number. I texted Trey Burton after he won the Super Bowl. Remember that Philly special he had?
Yes.
But that was about it. But other than that, I still have another Gator blog now. It's active. We have actually a large Facebook group with 15,000 members. But as far as the blogging, just been real busy and focusing on the business right now.
Right.
But it is inexistent. We just don't focus on it too much like we used to.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of Super Bowl, did you watch it?
I did. It was impressive. Yeah, it was awesome.
Did you have one team that you were rooting for? Or?
I kind of felt like Chiefs had the advantage there. I know we did a pool between me and the kids, and we all were pulling for the Chiefs besides one, and I was really rooting for the Gators, or the former Gators. Like Carlos Dunlap's another big fan of mine. He's been in the league, 15 years or so, it seems, going on 20 years, but and he hasn't won a ring yet.
Right.
So it was awesome to have Townsend and Carlos Dunlap, who I think is kind of on the ends of his career, to finally get a ring. Like Jalen Hurts got plenty of time.
Right.
But definitely Chiefs, I think they had the upper hand on that game.
And then Tony, he's still...
Kadarius Toney was another one.
He was so dynamic watching him play at Florida, some of the stuff he did.
Oh, for sure,
You're like, how are your knees, how do you walk the next day?
That was like playing a video game.
Right, exactly. I mean, he's got the step back, and then watching him, return the punt, and he's still doing what he did at Florida against
exactly.
Some of the
So
guys,
that's awesome
unreal.
to see for sure.
Yeah. So I got to be honest, I was because I'm a Jaguar fan, and I felt we were so close to being the miracle run, and beating Mahomes and the Chiefs at Kansas City. I had a lot of spite, so I was rooting for the Eagles just out of spite.
Had a good run though, slow start.
Yeah,
for sure.
So if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, like, would you take the Jaguars making it to the divisional round? I've been like,
not.
yeah, right,
Yeah, there's
100%.
No
and so, but it was definitely a good Super Bowl, and Mahomes, he's
just tough to beat.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
up there. If Kadarius Toney is a human joystick, then he's just playing backyard football 24/7.
Yeah, especially with a sore ankle too. So you got to give him kudos. He's an animal.
Absolutely.
A lot of years left in him.
Now you talked about your kids. How many kids?
So
do you have?
we have 5 girls total.
Okay.
And oldest is 9. We got 9, 6, 6, 3, and 1. Yeah.
All girls.
All girls.
That's a big range. 9 to 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. Yeah, we're done. Definitely not shooting for another boy. You know, we got our softball team.
Right.
But yeah, they're expensive and needy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I tell you, it's different having a bunch of girls, and because I had 3 brothers, my mom and dad raised 4 boys, so it's complete opposite.
Right.
And I think boys are definitely easier.
Oh,
for sure.
100%.
I mean, you know it too, right?
Yeah, 100%. It was just me and my brother, and you know, I look back at some of the things we did, and now I got 2 girls, and they're 2 very different personalities. One's coming, she's gonna be 2 at the beginning of March, and then one's 4. You know, for me, it's I don't know, because they're daddy's girls, right? They're following me around, wanting to do stuff, and so then when it comes time to like correct a behavioral issue, I'm a softie. I don't know how you are, but
no, I'm definitely a softie. Our 3-year-old, she gives us a run for our money though. Like she keeps us on our toes. It's a challenge, definitely. So it's hard telling what she's going to get into when she's older. She's just crazy.
Yeah. So are they involved in sports like you?
They are. So 3 or 4 out of 5 of them right now are in softball.
Okay.
So we have them all in softball currently. 1-year-old, obviously, she's not. But yeah, they're in softball. They enjoy it. Spend a lot of time outside. They mentioned gymnastics is probably what we'll do next.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all in softball and loving it.
So they play are they doing travel ball? I know.
No, a little too young for that. The oldest is 9. They've only been playing for about 2-3 seasons now. So we're still in the T-ball and the 9-year-olds in a league where a lot of girls are still getting to know the game. But that travel ball stuff, I grew up with that, and like I coached high school, and it's a different animal. It takes a lot of time and energy outside of the home, and I don't know if we'll get into that with our kids, but it's just rec league right now, introducing them in the basics of the game right now.
Right.
You know.
Now you used to coach softball.
Yes, sir. So I did 5 seasons at Lakeware High School, varsity head coach over there, and right now I'm just volunteer assistant coach at Vanguard High for the baseball team. But did softball for 5 years and loved it. Totally different game than baseball, faster pace and all that good stuff. So I do miss it a lot, but you know, had to resign and spend some time with the kids because it did take a lot of stress and energy on my end and away from the kids, you know, time-wise. So
yeah,
I had to step back and, you know, focus and let the kids spend time with them before I commit to something like that again. But I definitely miss it for sure.
Right. I was just about to ask you, when you sleep, you got your own business, you got 5 kids, and you were coaching softball, but now you're doing baseball.
Yes. Yeah. So we're doing, like I said, just a volunteer coach over there. So I help out when I can. I resigned from the softball coaching gig last May. Gave it a few months. Ended up telling a buddy I can help him out, and so it's been a lot. You know, I just love it. We've been around sports our whole life. My dad was coaching for about 31 years in Marion County. He just retired last year, so we have a big sports background. Right. So I think it's just I'm born to do it.
Right.
But now with the kids, it makes things a little difficult. So I got to take a step back and focus on them right now. They're the priority. So.
Right. You know. How's Vanguard looking this year for baseball?
We're looking pretty good. Real young team.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2 seniors, I believe. But season's looking promising. A lot of offensive threats right now, for sure.
When's the season kickoff, or is that
actually
already begun?
Tonight? We have a preseason game at Westport in Ocala at Westport High School. So we play there at 6 p.m. And then got a game again tomorrow. And then I believe we open up for Chiefland on the 20th, which is a week from today.
Okay.
But I'm excited. You know, I'm juggling that and leaving practices and going straight to my 9-year-old's practice, and it's definitely a lot. But just trying to create some memories and also be there for the kids and things like that. So I'm helping them coach a little bit as well.
I was about to say,
spread the knowledge to the
something tells
other
me
parents.
When you show up, you're not just watching.
Oh, there's no way.
Out.
I tried that, and they already asked me to help out and things like that. So I'm definitely helping out.
Right. When are the games for her? Are they on the weekends at least? Or?
No, they're actually during the week.
Okay.
So I won't be able to attend all of them, but try to be there when I can. You know, I'll dip into the baseball, you know, go to practice, and then leave a little bit early to go down there and make it in time.
Yeah.
But definitely try to get as much as I can between both of them.
Right,
you know,
100%.
Yeah.
Where now you said your dad coached there. He just retired.
He did.
Where was he at?
He was at Lakeware High School.
Okay.
He started there in 1990. He coached a little bit of football in the early 90s, and then started basketball, I believe 94, 95, around there, but he just retired after about 31 years. So he's pretty much a local legend. Everybody knows him.
Yeah.
I think he was got to be the oldest coach to resign last year. So he did, they're about 31 years, head basketball coach, and a little bit of golf and football.
Yeah. Just everything, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So we've been around the game, been around Billy Donovan when we were kids and things like that a lot.
So you played for him?
I did. Played for my dad 4 years. Played varsity basketball and varsity baseball. Played for him. So definitely treated me a lot different. I think I had to work a little harder, and he definitely was a lot tougher on me than most, dads that were coaches, I'd say. But it was fun. Yeah. Created a lot of memories, for sure.
That seems to be how it is. I remember my mom, she was a coach over in Putnam County, and so I was in school, Crescent City. And she was also the PE teacher, so I had to have her for personal fitness.
Okay.
And I broke my leg, and we used to have to run. I think you have to run like half a mile on Wednesdays, and that was part of, you would get points. And I clearly broke my leg, so I cannot run. She docked me points.
Oh, man.
My grades started going down because I had the highest grade. She's like, my kid can't, so she didn't let me get a B, but she docked me points. And it was like a 90.
That's crazy.
So I understand,
A lot of tension when you get home. Huh?
Yeah, it's just different. It's different when your parent is a coach and your parent, right?
It is.
So, but that's definitely cool. So, obviously you're a big basketball fan. How about the Florida Gators? Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I love them. 1 minute, and the other reason, then they go cold, and I'm like,
it's kind of like the football team last year. But we're big basketball fans since the Donovan era, and kind of inconsistent. We'll play really good, like the number 2 Tennessee comes to Gainesville, and we upset them. And then I think we played where'd we go, Auburn or something the next week or so, and kind of got our butts handed to us. Or it was Kentucky, I think it was a away game in Lexington, so we played totally different. Or Alabama, we lost about 20 points. So it's like, man. But on the road, I tell you what, anytime you play on the road, it's a different ball game, different animal. So, but we're pretty good. Hopefully we can get that strength of schedule and everything. It's pretty tough, so I'm hoping we can kind of make a good run the SEC tournament, get into the NCAA tournament
this weekend
under Todd Golden's first year. But
no, I like.
Hopefully,
I like Todd. I think we're, regardless of how the record reflects, I think we're going to be in the right direction.
I think so too.
I like what I see. I think that honestly, and obviously, I was nowhere near as good as these guys, right? But it seems like when we're hot, we're tough.
Oh,
we're
for
tough.
sure.
We're kind of streaky. And obviously, I love our big man.
Castleton, he's a beast. Yeah, he's awesome.
I wish be 6'10", and then sometimes he brings it up himself. He's like, I can push it.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of he's got some range, which seems to be, if you're going to be in the league, some of those guys, they're dropping. I mean, I was watching something, Al Hartford, he's dropping 3 bombs for the Celtics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when did he start shooting that? I don't remember him doing that.
He's still in the league. Yeah, he's pushing it too.
Yeah, he's been in there a while. And then who else is still? I believe I could have sworn Terrain Green is on the coaching staff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's doing something along. I'm not sure exactly, but from that era, I'm pretty sure Al Horford's the last one standing. Because I know Humphrey is actually broadcasting.
Right.
But I think Al Horford's he's got to be one of the only ones from that 06 to 08 team under Donovan, for sure.
He would have left in 07, right? We went 06, 07.
I know Corey Brewer played a long time.
He had a run.
Noah,
he retired. So Horford, he's just.
I almost got the ring last year too. I was rooting for the Celtics. He came close, but didn't quite get it.
We'll see how it plays out. So who all time? I'll just throw it out there. Who's the GOAT? Is it LeBron or is it Jordan?
Oh man. Definitely right now, LeBron. It's hard to compare the two because I was so young when Jordan. I watched plenty of tapes and things like that on VHS, but I don't know, man. I feel like LeBron's a lot more physical, definitely size and things like that. But I don't know. I'd say LeBron.
Yeah.
There's so much back and forth with him. The flop and all that. I don't really remember too much of Jordan. I know Jordan played through a lot of adversity with his dad and sickness and things like that. But LeBron, I tell you what, it's going to probably never be another LeBron ever. So after this, I mean, he's something special. It's hard to compare the two just because of different times, though.
Right.
But LeBron's definitely up there.
Right. No, I agree. I think for me, because I remember watching more Jordan, I would say Jordan, but when you look at it depends on what you're looking at, right?
Clutch situations.
Yeah, if you look at points, then it's LeBron. If you look at championships, then it's Jordan. But then you have the argument of Jordan had Pippen and Kerr, and Horace Grant was no slouch, right? So he had a legit dynasty team, but he was also hitting last shots, last second shots. So
it's definitely hard to compare for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So what about how you feel about Napier? Scared money don't make money. What do you think the future holds there?
Yeah, I really like him. Just like Coach Golden, I think he's real passionate. He's a culture builder too. So, online on the communities, you see a lot of back and forth. He came from Sun Belt. He can't stand a chance in SEC. It's going to take a lot of time.
Right.
A lot of these kids, these players are not his yet.
Right.
He's got to hire a staff. He's got to recruit his own players. So it's definitely going to take some time. But I think we're headed into the right direction for sure. The NIL I think is killing a lot of things.
Yeah.
As far as recruiting aspect. But that's a whole other subject. But I think we're definitely headed into the right direction. I like him. I'm a big Napier fan.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
He's definitely the guy.
I feel the same way, and I say when you look back at the dynasties, I have a buddy who's a Georgia fan, and he's like, Kirby lost to Vanderbilt, and then I have a buddy who's an Alabama fan, obviously Saban dynasty. When he was there, Saban was there, I think it was his first year, they lost to Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
who remembers that? Right?
Exactly.
Because all you see now is just championship, dynasty.
Absolutely.
Well, these schools weren't dynasties before they got there, so I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
We may have some growing pains last year, but then again, some of the games we're a play away from winning, right? One thing happens this way, that way. The Kentucky game, right? That was tough, but I think we're building the right thing, and I like the way he's recruiting. It wasn't the number one recruiting class, but I feel like we got the guys he wanted.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
What do you? So, what's your opinion on the NL ideals and how that's changed the game?
I tell you what, my view on it now is kind of shifted a little bit. When the NIL was first being introduced in talks, I was kind of for it, just because. Back to the Gator blog, I know a lot of scenarios and situations that these college athletes went through. We used to hang out with them when I went to college here, and didn't have a whole lot of money. Spending money on food and things like that. And I was for it, but now I think I'm against it just because of how it's being used, and I think it's going to ruin college football, believe it or not. Even basketball down the road, just because you're got these kids. You're not really committing to the school that you dreamt of playing. Now it's more about money, which I understand, but I don't know. I'm not really for it as I used to be. But I definitely think they should deserve some type of compensation. But I think it's getting a little out of hand, for sure.
Right.
And then moving where you want, you play for Florida one year, play for Kentucky the next. It's a little ridiculous. And instead of sitting out a year like you used to.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I tend to agree with you that I think something probably needed to be done, and some of these guys get compensated for their image and likeness and stuff. But I think that depending on your state and the laws that they set in place, that can put a school at a disadvantage. And I also think that when you end up with and it gets publicized, and you got this 5-star kid that's going to make X amount and like decent money, I don't know what that does for the locker room. If you got a guy that's making $250,000, a year or a month or whatever it's supposed to be, and you got another 5-star, I feel like it can sow some stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's from a booster standpoint, if you pay all that money, what if that kid doesn't start? Then are you in the coach's year? Like, what does that ruin that relationship?
You got coaches too that are, I can't blame the players 100% because the coaches are, doing the kind of the same thing, going from school to school. They're chasing the money. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, it's all about the money. But you have kids that are committed to one coach, and then if that coach is jumping ships and going to another school for money, this kid's not supposed to. He doesn't want to stay there.
Right.
Obviously, he wants to transfer. So that's a transfer portal. It's something different. But when you're guaranteeing a 17, 18-year-old kid millions of dollars, $100,000, whatever, and he hasn't even played a down of college football is another topic as well.
Yeah.
So that kid might be a bust. He might not be hyped up to what he was in high school. So
Right.
I don't really go by the rankings too much.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in development, player development, just like Coach Napier
Right.
preaches about. So, but it's definitely interesting.
I was going to say, I remember reading it, and I think they still do it. I remember it more so when I was younger, but every so often, I don't know if it was Gator Sports, where they'd publish, you look back at the recruiting class from whatever year, and then you'd look back, it's 5 years from now, and you'd see, like, all these guys, and you would be like, man, he actually was there? I don't remember him. And it's amazing, of the 25 guys you bring in, this many turn out to be studs.
It's
this
crazy.
many transfer, this many are great role players. And so I agree with you. You're hedging a lot on a 17-year-old that may or may not pan out. And then you got guys like one of my favorite, Jared Davis. I think he was like a 2-star coming out of Georgia. And then you develop him into a beast. And then, he was at Detroit. I think he's still in the practice squad up there. But, he's had a solid career. And he came from, like, nowhere.
That's crazy. And it happens with a lot of athletes. Like Evan Longoria, he ended up being a superstar at the Rays.
Right.
I told my kids, he went to a small school. I don't even know if it was Division I. It was a really, really tiny college. The Pacheco kid for Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
He's a running back. Look how good he's been doing. He's a 7-round draft pick out of Rutgers.
Yeah.
So I'm really big into player development, and it all depends on the coaches and their staff. So I think Napier is he's heading in the right direction. I think he's got a staff that will do that.
Yeah.
Especially 2-3 stars that we get a lot of those.
Right.
And, we don't really have the 5 stars like Bama and Clemson or Georgia and all that, but definitely I think he can develop them to where he need to be.
And that's the thing. If you eventually, if you can get them to stay and you develop them, then you got a 3-star who was a junior, but he's a stud now. And which I always think is interesting when guys transfer, and then they almost like re-rate them as far as what they were. Coming out of high school, he was this, but he's been all whack for 2 years, and now he's what would you put a star on that? He's probably
Exactly.
like a 4-star now because he's he's played ball. So I think the transfer portal has definitely changed. I remember back in the day, you used to have to sit out.
Yeah, especially going to the same conference, I believe, too.
Right, and they could say no, and now it's like open market every
for sure.
year, and it's like you can transfer mid-season, which I don't know. You start reading articles, and like all of a sudden we start players mid-year. They're like, hey, I'm done.
Crazy.
I'm done.
It's crazy.
So
sitting out of bowl games and things like that. Back in the day, they used to play through the Senior Bowl and through all the small bowls,
right.
No matter who you were. But now you have your draft stocks at stake, to make X amount of money, and I see it because if you get hurt, but it's definitely a different era for sure, different day and age.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what are your predictions for this upcoming year? Florida, where do you see us?
A lot of winnable games for sure. You have your you open up at on the road against Utah,
right.
I believe, in Utah. Georgia's going to be a tough game, but there's definitely some games that are obtainable. It just like I said, last year was silly. We started off good against Utah, but I don't know if the bar was just set so high with Richardson and whatnot, but we definitely have I think we'll have a decent year. I think it's going to be kind of like a year we had this past season.
Yeah.
Maybe just over 500 record, I would
right.
assume. But quarterback play right now is also going to be not an issue, but questionable.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting.
Right. I think
we'll do okay though.
I feel like Richardson, he's got all that talent, and then you see a glimpse of it the year prior, and so I think it was one of those things where it's like he's still just he's a young man. It's first time starting in the SEC, toughest league,
sure.
but he's got all this talent, and so we were expecting the second coming of Tebow, And you know, Tebow's sophomore year, we went 8-5.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we played in the Outback Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, we win the Natty, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think Anthony unfortunately had some unfair pressure and criticism. And it's like, yeah, he's developing.
Exactly.
And so I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see what the kid from Wisconsin, Graham Mertz,
Yep,
right?
yep.
It'll be interesting. I mean, he's played a lot of football. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that transitions to Napier's offense and, you know, go from there.
Yeah, definitely have some competition with Miller
Mhm.
from Ohio State. I'm not saying he was impressive in the bowl game. He didn't play the whole year, so I don't really like to count that game. But
Right.
we don't see what's going on in practice either, so it's hard to tell. But definitely be a competition at the quarterback,
Right.
position for sure.
And I think now with the bowl games, like you said, a lot of guys sitting out.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like Trask, you know, he played the bowl game, but he did it without Pitts. He did it without Tony.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That I saw some things I liked. And then
Yeah.
some of the things, you know, you'd say weren't great plays.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's first game.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of our, you know, starters weren't
Definitely
there.
didn't have any receivers to throw to.
Right,
For sure.
Right. So you can only, you know, I love our two-headed monster with Etienne and Johnson,
yeah.
but we can't give them to him every play.
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So,
They'll be too predictable in defense for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
They're great too. We'll have a good running back scheme for sure. You know, a good guy. Good. Our roster's deep as far as the running backs, but quarterbacks will definitely, be up in the air, I guess.
Right. We'll see. You know, we
We'll
got
see, yeah.
we got a couple guys in the transfer portal. you know,
Lost that
so-
Rashada kid was pretty big. That was a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But ended up to be, but
Yeah, it didn't. He ended up at I think Arizona State.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's a lesson learned
Mhm.
by all parts. Probably more so, not Napier. I think maybe on the Gator Collective.
Yeah,
you know,
it had to be
as
something
far-
along
far
those
as that.
lines, yeah.
But I'm excited about the kid that's coming. That was going to be coming after Rashada.
Mhm.
I think it's a Lagway. He's out of Texas. I
DJ,
think. DJ.
Lagway.
Yeah,
he
he's-
should be special as long as he, these commitments in 2024. It's good that they're committed, but
That's a long
it
time.
can change. I'm telling you, overnight it can change. Emotions and money and things like that. He seems like he's got his head on straight, but
Right.
We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
So
Seems legit.
I'm optimistic about the future. I think we could this year. I'm hoping for eight or so wins, and then I think we catapult after one more year of Napier recruiting. That's
What we're
kind of my
hoping.
prediction.
At least 8 wins would be nice for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the business, man. So what new things you got going on? Where's 2023 taking you?
Yeah, just looking to kind of continue to get our name out there. We did every year. It seems like we continue to grow and also learn. Every single day, every single week, we're constantly learning the market, learning our own niche, our own identity with our machines. So we're not perfect. We've been in business for about 3 years, but our goal is just to continue to grow, build relationships. We do a really good job with building relationships with our clients, with our customers, which lead to repeat.
Right.
We love to establish more reoccurring customers with our businesses that we work with. But as our goals and what I look forward to in this year is just to continue to grow and to get our name out there with the community, with Ocala's growing just so fast.
Oh yeah.
And that's primarily where our business is at. A little bit around Gainesville and Orlando, but primarily focusing on the Ocala area, and we're just trying to get our name out there a little bit more.
Right.
We're pretty well known and pretty highly recommended by most people, but with the community growing as it is and people moving to Florida, just continuing to get our name out there is probably our goal.
Yeah. Well, I know you said you've been born and raised in Marion County 31 years. I'm sure you've seen it's a lot different than when I remember coming over to play in high school. I've been there for 8 years now, and downtown has undergone a complete almost makeover. So what's some of the better changes or biggest changes you've noticed?
Well, the Equestrian Center is actually pretty nice. We've enjoyed that a lot. They hold a lot of events, and that's going to bring a lot more jobs and entertainment and things like that. That's kind of a wish list, is to get onto that board and on the vendors list for their apparel.
Right.
I'd say
Yeah.
custom apparel. But as far as the Ocala community, it's an excellent place to visit. They do stuff for kids on Halloween, the trick or treats, and for the Christmas lights is phenomenal. Yeah. So we go there quite a bit. We were there for a daddy-daughter dance actually a couple weekends ago. That was phenomenal. It was just awesome. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it's growing. There's a lot of things to do. You know, it's getting a little hectic. It's like a mini Orlando in the 200 area around this time. But there's still a lot to do. Yeah. You know, for pretty much anybody. Yeah.
The daddy-daughter dance, I did not take my oldest. I told her I'd take her next year, and she brings it up like every other week that like we got it coming up. And
you got to do it.
Yeah. So, but you went. Did you take how many?
That's what I was
daughters
gonna say.
Did you take?
I did take 3 out of the 5.
Right.
And it was hard. They all wanted to dance at the same time, and they had free ice cream, so we spent a lot of time next to the ice cream cart, kind of a la carte, pick as you go, choose as you go, and spent a lot of time eating ice cream. But it was awesome. I remember going with my oldest a few years ago. It's a little easier with one, so you got to take your oldest while you only have
one.
Her.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, you know, to see. It was at the Question Center.
Was it in one of the expo rooms, or was it?
It was actually in the expo room, very back. It was just massive. It was huge. But it was awesome. They had a 2-night event, Friday and Saturday. We went to Friday night. But yeah, we took 3 of them, or I took 3 of them, and they had a good time. Yeah, good time.
So, side note: if you're in Alachua County, Levy County, Marion County, and you have not been out to WEC, you gotta go. Whether it's for an event, I know we had breakfast with Santa out there during Christmas and the lights. Halloween, like you mentioned, or just in general. I mean, honestly, the restaurant out there, I forget what it's called, with the burrito. I go out there. They got the Dippin' Dots place for the ice cream. I mean, it's honestly impressive. If you're gonna walk, get a golf cart because
it's massive.
It's massive, and I hear they're like building another hotel.
A lot of construction going on there. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Ocala, like you said, is blowing up. It seems every time I read the paper, more people. We got like over 300,000 people.
Yeah, it's getting crowded.
Which is good for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's what I look at it as a positive note. You know, like I said earlier, a lot of people I've noticed are moving to Ocala and starting businesses or moving a business. We deal with a lot of customers that move their current business to Ocala or expanding.
Right.
So it's definitely a good note. You know, I do like it back in the day when it wasn't so crowded, but looking at it, just like the villages, there's massive and opportunity in the villages as well for a lot of businesses because of the growth and expansion. So, but a lot of new friends, opportunities as well. So,
absolutely.
You know.
So basically, if you're moving to Marion County or the surrounding area, whether it's Sumter, even Alachua, and you're thinking about starting a business, or you have a business, you're just looking to rebrand, create a brand, this is your guy right here. What's the best way for them to find you? Is it social media, Facebook?
So across all social media platforms, mainly Facebook, but you can Google us, Surber Signs and Graphics on Google. We can pop up. Lane Kent is our production manager. He's there full time. So if you give us a call, usually walk-ins or calling us is the best way of communication. We do get a lot of Facebook requests, a lot of requests on my personal Facebook. So it can get hectic there a little bit there. But best ways to find us is Google or Facebook, and give us a call or walk on in. It's a brick and mortar, so you can come by anytime.
You can actually have if you're old school and you like face-to-face contact.
Easier that way. Easier to understand what our customers are wanting and needing, as opposed to going back and forth through a messenger and misinterpreting things. And they can also feel our garments, shirts, hats, see them in person, try them on, to make a better judgment on their uniforms for their business as well.
Right. I know in today and age, everything happens quick with technology and all that, but sometimes you got to slow down. We personally like to do it. Bring the client in, talk to them, and then you have that rapport.
Exactly.
I actually know the guy that's about to make my brand.
Exactly.
I trust you, and build that, and that relationship can go a long way, especially when it comes to repeat business.
Exactly.
Like that. So, well, Brandon, I really appreciate you coming on today. It was a pleasure talking about business, mostly about the Gators, which I always enjoy. So, thanks, man. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Buddy.